Las Vegas Raiders fans, get ready, because this news could shape our future. The wide receiver room? It's not where it needs to be. And with the 2025 NFL Draft coming up, the Raiders have a big decision to make. Right now, Las Vegas has 9 picks, and it's almost certain that one of them will be a wide receiver. If the season started today, the top names in the room would probably be Jakobi Meyers, Trey Tucker, and maybe even Kyle Phillips. But let's be honest, we need more firepower. The offense needs someone who can create plays, move the chains, and bring energy to every drive. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Let's start with round 1, pick number 6. You might expect a top receiver here, but honestly, there's no wide receiver at this spot that truly fits the Raiders right now. Even though names like Tetairoa mcmillan and emeka egubka are popular, it's just not the right move at 6. Now, if Las Vegas trades down, and that's something the front office is exploring, then emeka egubka becomes a real possibility. He's talented, explosive, and someone the Raiders could be eyeing if the draft board falls their way. But round 2, pick 37, is where things get more exciting. This is where a wide receiver pick starts making real sense. Round 3 is also a strong possibility, and one name that's standing out more and more? Jaden Higgins from Ohio State. He's a big, athletic target with a crazy catch radius of 6 feet 7 inches. He can line up inside or outside, and his ball skills are getting serious attention. If the Raiders don't go receiver in round 1, Higgins might be the steal they need early in the draft. Let's talk about power, effort, and potential. That's exactly what you get with Jaden Higgins. At 6 feet 4 inches and 210 pounds, he's a big-body receiver who plays like he's even taller. His route running still needs polish, and he's not a big yards-after-catch guy, but his strength, size, and attitude are what really stand out. Some Raiders fans want the team to go for tetairoa mcmillan at pick 6. But here's the truth. Higgins at pick 37 might be the smarter, tougher choice. Coaches around the league say he's a dog, a hard worker who puts in the grind every single day. That's the kind of mentality Las Vegas needs on the field. Now, let's shift focus to another wide receiver, Luther Burden. Some draft boards have him in the top 20, while others believe he could fall to the mid-second round. But here's what matters. The Raiders have already held a private visit with him. That's a big sign of interest. Burden is dangerous with the ball. He's got the speed, the separation, and the ability to make plays at every level of the field. He kind of brings that early Tyler Lockett energy, only more athletic. His deep ball tracking ability is elite, and if the Raiders land him, he could be used just like Seattle used Lockett, stretching defenses and opening the field. Another name on the radar? A receiver from Stanford with a unique blend of size and speed. His work ethic is impressive, and that's something the Raiders' coaching staff values highly. Every year in college he improved, and that development is no accident. At 6 feet 2 inches, 210 pounds, his play reminds some of Jakobi Meyers. Not flashy, but highly reliable. He doesn't blow you away with pure athleticism, but he knows how to get open and make smart plays. He could be a solid pickup. Maybe not ideal at pick 37, but if he's there in the 3rd round, he's worth considering. Speaking of round 3, pick 68 might just be where the Raiders strike gold. One name stands out above the rest. Jalen Noel. Why? Because he's the only receiver so far to have both a formal combine meeting and a top 30 visit with the Raiders. That says a lot. His acceleration is explosive. Some of the best you'll see in this class. He's fast, focused, and fits the type of offensive weapon the Raiders are looking for. Let's talk about speed, separation, and pure football instinct, because that's exactly what Jalen Noel brings. His tape speaks for itself. Quick routes, sharp footwork, and the kind of after-the-catch ability that can turn short gains into big plays. Last season, he pulled in 80 catches for 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Add that to his ability as a kick and punt returner, and you've got a player who can impact multiple areas of the game. With someone like Noel on the roster, alongside Jakobi Meyers and a playmaker like Brock Bowers, It's not crazy to imagine him grabbing 60 to 70 catches as a rookie. He's that dynamic. Now, if the Raiders are hunting for a strong outside receiver, Tre Harris is a name to circle. He might not be a true WR1, but he has all the tools to be a solid WR2. At 6'3", 205 pounds, Harris combines size with long strides and good speed. His route running has improved, and his ability to win contested catches is getting better every year. He may not have blazing 40-yard dash numbers, but watch the tape. He runs by defenders all game long. His stride and natural pace make him dangerous on the deep ball. If the Raiders want someone who brings that big body presence on the outside, Harris could be the guy in round 3. So, when will the Raiders pull the trigger on a wide receiver? If we're being realistic, it feels like day 2, either round 2 or round 3, is where it happens. That's the sweet spot. From everything we've seen, it's likely that one of these names we've talked about ends up wearing silver and black. Now, let's move to round 4. Pick 108. This is where the talent drop-off starts to get noticeable. But there's still potential to find hidden gems. One name that stands out is Savion Williams. Will he be available in round 4? Maybe not, but if he is, he's worth a serious look. At 6 feet 5 inches, 225 pounds, he's a rare athlete. Big, explosive, and tough to tackle. He's not polished as a route runner, but that's okay. His upside is exciting. He's the type of player who just needs the ball in his hands. Get creative with him, and he could become a versatile weapon. The kind of athlete that can line up all over the field and cause problems for defenses. Let's talk about pure athletic freaks. And that brings us to Savion Williams. Picture a player built like Cordarrelle Patterson, with the electricity of Percy Harvin. That's the level of raw talent we're dealing with. At 6 feet 5 inches and 225 pounds, Williams isn't just big, he's explosive. His NFL combine numbers proved he's a rare kind of athlete. But let's keep it real. While his physical gifts are off the charts, he's still very raw as a wide receiver. He's not going to walk in as a polished pass catcher in year 1. That's why round 4 feels like the right time to take a shot. Let him develop, and the payoff could be huge. Now, here's a player that's hard to figure out. Kyle Williams from Washington State. Some scouts are raving about him, calling him a possible first-round talent, even labeling him as one of the most explosive wideouts in the entire class. Others? They're unsure where he fits. Here's what we do know. He's electric. Undersized? Yes. But he makes up for it with his blazing speed and vertical separation. Watching him track the ball is like watching a center fielder in the MLB. Smooth, focused, and natural. He scored 14 touchdowns last season on 70 catches, and every time he touches the ball, defenders look like they're skating on ice. But here's the catch. His hands can be inconsistent, and his route tree needs refinement. Still, with the right coaching, his upside is serious. For the silver and black, this is the kind of big play weapon that could stretch defenses and take pressure off the rest of the offense. If the Raiders land Kyle Williams in round 4, they may be walking away with one of the steals of the draft. Let's dive into round 5, where the Raiders hold the 143rd overall pick, and things start to get really interesting. One name getting attention is Tez Johnson, a speedster with strong college ties. He's actually the brother of quarterback Bo Nix. The Raiders did meet with him at the Combine, which makes him worth keeping an eye on. But here's the truth. I'm not as high on him as some others. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's quick. But his limited route tree, inconsistent hands, and undersized frame raise real questions. That being said, if Tez Johnson is still on the board in round 5, that's a different story. That's when he becomes a value pick, not a gamble. Still, if I had a choice, I'd seriously consider Nick Nash from San Jose State instead. Why? Because this guy's a competitor, through and through. He started off as a quarterback and then transitioned to wide receiver just to get on the field and help his team win. That's the kind of fire the Raiders should be looking for. Nash has insane leaping ability, full body extension on contested catches, and he brings a never-back-down mentality that shows up every single snap. You can see the effort in his transformation, too. He's bigger, faster, and stronger than he was a year ago. That's not luck. That's a work ethic that screams, "I belong in the NFL." If you're looking for a comparison, think Keelan Doss, but upgraded, a more athletic version, with sharper movement and next-level drive. This is exactly the type of guy the Raiders should target in Round 5. Now, looking ahead to Round 6, the Raiders have 3 picks, 180, 213, and 215. That opens the door to add depth or take calculated risks at wide receiver. And yes, there are still intriguing prospects available. Players who might not be household names yet but could become real assets in the silver and black. Let's jump into Round 6, where the Raiders hold picks 213 and 215. These later rounds are where smart teams dig deep, and that's exactly what Las Vegas needs to do. One under-the-radar name is Isaac Tesliah, a wide receiver out of Arkansas. When you watch him, you see more than just a receiver. You see a fighter. He plays with grit. He's physical. He loves blocking, thrives on contact, and brings the kind of edge that makes him dangerous on special teams, too. At 6 feet 3 inches, 214 pounds, he's built like a classic tough guy receiver, and while his production didn't turn heads in college, you can't ignore his athletic potential. Sure, he's raw, but if you liked Mac Hollins when he wore silver and black, you'll like Tesliah. He brings that same bulldog energy and could be a hidden gem on both offense and special teams. Now let's talk about Ty Felton from Maryland. He's a talented, deep threat with great ball-tracking skills, especially on long throws over the shoulder. But there's a catch. He's extremely lean. Too lean, in fact. He struggles when matched up against physical corners. Press coverage can throw him off, and he doesn't always win those 50-50 battles. That said, Felton's upside is real. He's explosive, productive, and was often Maryland's go-to guy because of his speed and big play ability. If the Raiders can get him into the right strength program, he could grow into a useful piece. And here's a connection that might matter. Raiders wide receiver coach Chris Beatty has strong ties to Maryland. Relationships have been a big part of the Raiders' off-season strategy, and Felton's name could easily rise in that room because of it. And now, Round 7, where you're not just looking for players, you're looking for character, work ethic, and maybe even local passion. Enter Ricky White, wide receiver from UNLV. What makes Ricky stand out isn't just his game, it's his heart. He's already made it public that he would love to play for the Raiders. That kind of loyalty matters. He's a local kid, full of hunger, and he wouldn't just show up to practice, he'd show up with pride. You want that in your locker room. You want that energy on your sideline. When you get this deep into the draft, you're not just building depth, you're building culture. And Ricky White brings exactly that. Let's close out this wide receiver talk with a name that truly bleeds silver and black. Ricky White from UNLV. He's not your typical flashy receiver prospect. He's not going to dominate on offense or outshine anyone with highlight catches, but that's not why the Raiders should look at him. This guy is built for special teams warfare. Blocking punts? He's done it, 4 times in 1 season. That kind of production on special teams is rare. He rushes punters like a missile and knows how to jam gunners like a pro. And more importantly, he's hungry. He's already said, "I want to be a Raider." You want that in your locker room. That kind of desire can't be taught. Think of him like a more physical, grittier version of Christian Wilkerson, a guy who may not wow you with his athleticism, but every coach loves having him around. He understands his role, he gives you everything he's got, and he earns the respect of his teammates. That's the type of guy who sticks on a roster. That's the type of guy the Raiders need at the back end of their depth chart. Ricky White might not be WR1. He might not even be WR4. But if you're building a team filled with toughness, loyalty, and purpose, this is the guy you draft in Round 7.